and welcome back to the Tanso GR86 Season 7. This week, Week 4, we're at Oulton Park for Race 7 and 8. So first we're going to kick off with Race 7, and we've got the Without Britons layout today, which makes it a little easier for our racers as it does away with one of the chicanes, but still challenging enough. So let's have a look and see how they line up on the grid for the qualifying. So as they qualified, lined up on the grid, we've got Dan Wirham in first place, followed by Stuart Court in second, Josh Arnold in third, Sean Webber in fourth, Jack Holland in fifth, Lee Rylands in sixth, Mark Proctor in seventh with Peter Woodmore in eighth, Siddons in ninth, Christopher Smith is in 10th, 11th is Rob Sutherland, 12th is Scott Kostrick, and then we have, after Scott, Dan Forster in 13th, Peter Sidger in 14th, Dan Swinhoe in 15th, Bradley Cormack 16th, 17th is Sean Atkinson, followed by Terry Atkinson in 18th, Dave Clark in 19th. In 20th, we've got Rob Jackson, then John Johnston in 21st, and Craig Corish rolls up the grid in 22nd. So let's get the race underway. And away they go. And Dan Wirham's off there. He's away ahead of Stuart Court. Sean Webber and Josh Arnold trade places before they get to Old Hall Corner. And away goes Dan Wirham. He's already half a second up on Stuart Court there. And they're all through. I think they're all safely through. A few places swapped there. Dan Wirham's really shooting off here. He's well ahead of Stuart Court and Sean Webber. So Stuart Court is now trying to chase down Dan Wirham, but he's got Sean Webber close on his tail and a bunch of others. So this is going to be tough from second backwards. Stuart Court's leading Sean Webber by no more than three tenths, and 2 tenths back to Josh Arnold as they're really pushing on now. Josh and Sean pushing up the hill to Hilltop now. First chicane for this layout is Hislops, and around they go. Nice and tidy round there into Knickerbrook. Stuart Court leads them away, but Dan Wirham is now over a second in front. That's absolutely amazing. Stuart Court's got a nice little train behind him here. Sean Webber closely on his tail. And as we come round into Old Hall Corner for the second time, Sean Webber. Oh, and he's lost it. Oh no. What has happened there? That is unfortunate. Absolutely unfortunate for Sean Webber. Goes to the back of the pack more or less as Dan Wirham just disappears. But the pressure is not off. Stuart Court is still under pressure, but this time for Josh Arnold, who's just taken Sean Webber's place basically. So Josh Arnold now, we won't give him the commentator's curse by going on board, but closely behind Josh is Lee Rylands as Sinan and Mark Proctor trade places further back. It's really close here as they're coming round Hilltop and up into Hislops. This is a really close fight here. You got Sinan leading, Mark Proctor and Christopher Smith right behind as we come into Hislops. This is going to be tight, but they make it safely round. Mark Proctor being hounded, absolutely hounded by Christopher Smith. right on his toe. Not giving an ounce of breathing room there. Sean Atkinson and Rob Jackson trade places a bit further back there. So at the back of the pack here, we're on board with Sean Atkinson. He's got Sean Webber in front of him. Remember, Sean was just fighting for third place not long ago. And now he's just trying to stay ahead of Sean Atkinson, back in 17th and 18th. As we go back up front, Dan Wirham is leading them by under a second now. And Stuart Court and Josh Arnold chase him down. Lee Rylands, Jack Holland closely behind. As they come up once again into Hislops. We're going to follow Jack Holland through. Jack makes it cleanly through, back in 5th place. Just got to make sure he stays in touch with those in front of him. There's then a bit of a gap back from Jack, back to Sinan, who leads the second part of the pack with Mark Proctor, but he's making a bit of a gap back to Mark Proctor and Christopher Smith and Rob Sutherland. And here they come. Come down Lodge Corner into Dearly as we cut on board with Sinan. Following coming through there. The big trainer cars behind him. Further up front, Stuart Court is now under pressure from Josh Arnold. They come down into Cascades. Josh Arnold trying to get some traction. He's right up behind Stuart here. Is he going to go for it as we go down Lakeside and into Island Bend? Maybe it'll be a move at Shellor's corner, but I think Stuart's too wily for that one. Josh Arnold's going to need to bide his time as they go up Hilltop towards Hislops yet again. They come piling down here, down the inside. Lee Rylands, Jack Holland looking for a place through. Wasn't that nothing doing? And Josh is stuck to the back of Stuart Court like glue. We're on board with Stuart. Let's see what it looks like looking back. Got Josh chasing him down. We come round into Old Hall Corner. Josh has just gone up his inside. Oh, and Stuart has just lost it. Unfortunately, Stuart loses it there. Lee Rylands takes second. Jack Holland in third. Josh Arnold, Sinan, Christopher Smith, Peter Sidcar, Rob Sutherland, Peter Sidcar. That was really unfortunate. As we watch Lee Rylands now take up second place. He's got good, nearly 2 seconds behind Dan Wirham. Not sure he's going to make that up anytime soon. Time and time again we see Stuart lose it in a critical place and have to fight his way back. Just goes to show it's not always about being the fastest. So now Josh Arnold under pressure from Christopher Smith. Lee Ryland's building a bit of a gap now away from those two, and Dan Wiram's well away up front. And Simmons on the back of Christopher Smith. And then further back we've got Dan Forrester under pressure from Peter Sidcar. And Scott Kostrick closely behind him as well. Then followed by David Swinhoe, Mark Proctor, Peter Woodmore. And Stuart Court trying to fight his way back through. Dave Clark further back under a bit of pressure from newcomer Sean Webber. Sean looking to take it into Old Hall corner. Not quite doing it there. Dave looks to be staying well ahead. Go round Cascades. Sean Webber's trying to hold on to the back of him. But looks like Dave got some really good traction there. He's starting to pull up a gap. Shell Oil's corner coming up though. Oh, and who did we have going off there? Looked like Mark Proctor, I think. Let's have a quick look. Oh, yeah, unfortunate. Mark Proctor just went a bit wide. That was all. And we go back up to see Lee Rylands being chased down by Josh Arnold. As he come down into Hislops yet again. Josh right on his tail. Still nothing doing. Really pushing hard. As they go up Clay Hill. That little trio. See Scott Kostrick, David Swinhoe closely on his tail. Go and find some action. Back up with Josh, desperately trying to chase Lee Rylands down here is Josh. Now he's going down the side, is he? No, not quite. He's got to be careful. He's got Jack Holland hounding him down as well as they come around Cascades. Down Lakeside and into Island Bend. What's doing here? Oh, Josh goes up the inside, which is now the outside. He's got his nose ahead on Lee Rylands, but he'll lose the traction, I think. Lee Rylands is on the inside all the way up here. And then you've got Jack Holland trying to push his way through, cheekily trying to follow Josh Arnold through. Let's see how they do. On the outside there, Lee Rylands, Josh Arnold is through. So Josh Arnold, Lee Rylands, Jack Holland. There was no chance for Jack there. Try and do a sneaky, unfortunately. But Lee Rylands is battling there, trying to get the place back from Josh Arnold. We've got 8 minutes to go, still plenty of time. Well, further back, we've got Rob Jackson and Dave Clark trading places. Rob Jackson takes it up the inside as they come down to Lodge Corner. Always a dodgy corner, Lodge Corner. So easy to get on the power too early as you come through here. But they both tuck in nicely and sensibly, and they're through. So, Stuart Court is now hounding down Dave Swinhoe, who seemingly moved over there. Let the faster driver through, as Stuart Court gives us another masterclass in working your way all the way up the field. I do wonder whether Stuart ought to start from the back anyway. Seeing this in the last few races, he's had a little mishap and ended up there and had to fight his way all the way back to the front. But anyway, off he goes, trying to fight his way through. Whilst Josh Arnold out front is now under pressure from Lee Rylance. Oh, clips the corner there. Didn't slow him down any. Just caught the side of that barrier. Saw some debris go up in the air. No damage at hand. They're actually quite stretched out for Oulton Park. Notoriously difficult to overtake. Usually ends up in a lot of drafting going on though. But you just can't get past. And we seem to be quite strung out. There's actually only a couple of cars under half a second behind each other. So there's literally two at the moment and nothing else in it. They're all pretty much spread out. Yeah, so it's looking pretty hard to find some exciting commentating, unfortunately. What I really like, Lee Rylance and Jack Holland might just do us the trouble here. Jack Holland, oh, Will off the ground. That'll lose him some traction though. Coming through Cascades. And here they come into Island Bend. Shallows corner coming up. If Jack can get a good late break, which he does get a late break, will he get some acceleration going up Hilltop? He might be able to get through here. This is one of the available overtake places, only if you're close enough. Otherwise, it's a dangerous dive into Hislops. Can't see that happening. Another clip of the boards from Josh Arnold as he goes through the chicane at Hislops. Lee Rylance a bit wide, but nice and safe. So now Jack Holland's dropped back a bit. Scott Kostrick has now got Stuart Court closely behind him. Stuart, yeah, dives up the inside. He's trying to make a pass. In Lodge Corner, I think it will come. Yeah, he goes for the inside. Is he going to take him? Yep, he's got him. He's cut Scott Kostrick off. Scott's had no choice but to go out wide. Gives Stuart the inside line. Goes through Deer Lake. Across the start finish. Up to Old Hall Corner. And Stuart has crossed another one off. As we see places being swapped at the top here. Dan Wirham now 3 seconds ahead. Lee Rylance and Jack Holland. Jack Holland closely chasing Lee down here. Just find it so hard to do anything. But as we go up Hilltop, maybe Jack Holland squeeze something through here. Let's see what he can do. Right, we come down the hill into Hislop. Is he going to late break? He's not. He backs out. Probably quite sensibly. Lee Ryan's not going to fall for that one. They come round Knickerbrook, up into Clay Hill. The next bit of action really as we go through Druids Corner and under Warwick Bridge. We'll be through Lodge Corner. So here's Warwick Bridge. Oh, Lee Rylance goes off track there. Jack's going to take it inside. No, they're all too tight. Not close enough. So there we go, round again. Just a couple of minutes to go. Closest fight on the track. I'm not sure there's going to be anything doing though. They're both wily drivers, and Lee Rylands is just not giving an inch. He's certainly not making a mistake. Well, here we come. So as we come up into Island Bend, Josh has got the inside for Island Bend, but Lee will have the inside for Shell Oil's Corner. Can Jack maintain the traction going up hilltop as we come up into Hislops? Let's see. And as they come down the hill into Hislops, they trade places, by a few hundredths of a second, but then swap back again. No change. And Dan Wirham now 3.5 seconds ahead of Josh Arnold. Bit of a lonely race this, but he's out front. No mistakes, he's got this in the bag. 3.5 seconds back to Josh, and Lee Rylands another second behind, closely fighting with Jack Holland. So as Dan Wirham goes across the line, what will be the final lap. Should be the final lap, we'll see. Right, let's quickly jump back to see how Lee Rylands is getting on, fending off Jack Holland. Jack's got very few chances left. His best one coming up. Get right up close, brake late, going into Shell Oil's Corner. He might be able to do something. He's just not close enough. I think he's probably given up the race there. They go up hilltop. He's trying to chase him down, but I don't think it's going to happen. And you can see Josh there covering the inside. There's nowhere for Jack to go as they go around Hislops. We're going to go back out front with Dan. Adding another shed load of points to his tally is Dan. As we come round into Lodge Corner, should be for the last time, I believe. And it is. Up Deer Leap, cross the line, and Dan takes the win. Dan takes the win, closely followed by Josh Arnold, Lee Rylands and Jack Holland close on the line, but they stay in their places. Christopher Smith takes it from Sinan. Rob Sutherland coming across the line. Stuart Court, he gets up to 9th. Scott Kostrick, Dave Swinhoe coming over the line there. And we're quite a way back then. We have Mark Proctor quite a way back to Rob Jackson. About 12 seconds back, just come across the line there. Did Rob. Dave Clark closely behind. Peter Sidcup. Sean Webber parked up now. Sean Atkinson, John Johnson. So guys, there we have it. The scores on the doors. For Heat 1, we have Dan Wirham takes the race from Josh Arnold. 3.7 seconds behind, and then Lee Rylands another 5 seconds behind there. We've got Jack Holland, Christopher Smith, Sinan in 6th, Rob Sutherland in 7th, Dan Forrester in 8th, Stuart Court made it back up to 9th, unlucky Stuart, Scott Kostrick in 10th, Dave Swinhoe in 11th, Mark Proctor 12th, Rob Jackson 13th, 14th is Dave Clark, 15th, Peter Sidcar in 15th there. And then Sean Webber, 16, Sean Atkinson, 17, closely followed by John Johnson, Peter Woodmore in 19th, Terry Atkinson, 20th, Craig Corish, back in 21st. That leaves us with Bradley Cormack in 22nd. I'm not sure Bradley finished the race there, 5 laps behind. So thank you guys. That was an okay race. Not one of the most exciting we've seen, but there were some moments. Let's go see what's up for race 8. And welcome back, guys, as we line up for race 8 at Oulton Park, without Britons, of course. And on the pole position, it's a reverse grid, so we've got Sinan. Then behind Sinan, I believe we have Christopher Smith heading up the front row. So without delay, let's get Barney to drop the flag and get this race underway. And here we go. Sinan, Christopher Smith, Jack Holland, Lee Rylands, Dan Wareham, Josh Arnold. So they're going to fight their way through this. Sinan's nicely away with Christopher Smith following up behind, and then Jack Holland, Dan Wareham, Josh Arnold. Dan's got to fight his way through carefully. Cold tyres. Back out again. Down they go to Island Bend for the first time. And they're quite bunched up here. Sinan takes them through Island Bend into Shell Oil's corner. Keep a close eye on what's going on. Christopher Smith is close behind him. Lee Rylands and Dan Wareham not far behind. Now, I think we can... we'll see some action as we come up here into Hislops for the first time. Jack Holland dives down the inside on Christopher Smith. Makes the look to make a pass, doesn't quite do it. And they all get through Hislops. And then we've got a bunch behind them. Well, John Johnson made it safely through there. Bradley Cormack and Craig Corish behind. Whoa, a little off there at the back. Mark Proctor, I believe that was. And Dave Swinhoe under pressure from Sean Webber. Doesn't quite make that round. A nice smart move up the inside there. Bradley Cormack on John Johnson. Lovely pass. We go further up. We've got places being traded all over. Christopher Smith takes the lead. Sinan's out in front. Christopher Smith. Jack Holland. Lee Rylands. So they're all closely battling. Dan Wareham hasn't made any manoeuvres yet. Biding his time, I think. Got plenty of points on the board from the first race. He can afford to wait. Let the others make some mistakes. Our mate Stewart still sitting back in 9th. Hasn't made the moves up there from there yet. I expect he will. And here we go, Christopher Smith putting the pressure on. As we go down into Hislops. Oh, nothing doing. So Sean Webber further back in 12th. Now under pressure from Bradley Cormack. Dave Clark in front of them. And in fact, Sean putting the pressure on Dave here. And as we come round into Lodge Corner, gone up the inside of Sean Webber. And he's robbed him. Dave has been robbed. At the same time, Christopher Smith has taken the lead from Sinan. And there's a whole bunch fighting behind. Oh, as Dan Wareham goes a little out wide, he's made his way up into fourth, got past Lee Rylands. Now this is a bunch and a half, and look who's coming up the back there. You can see Stuart Court slowly meandering through, still in ninth, but don't think that'll be for long, and it's not. He's in eighth now as we watch Christopher Smith under pressure from Sinan, trying to get his place back as we come up into Hislops. Sinan goes to the inside. Christopher Smith on the outside, doesn't dive, just lets him go. All very close though. Was that a mistake from Jack Holland there? Although Dan Wareham seems to have had a bit of a gap. He's got Lee Rylands closely on his tail there. So Lee has got Dan Wareham under pressure, at least for a moment. But we're going to have to quickly snip back because unlike the first race, these guys are really tight at it. And coming up Deer Leap, Christopher Smith got Sinan and Jack Holland chasing him down. None of them making a move yet, but they're all very, very close. Christopher Smith trying to pull away as they go down into Cascades. Some manoeuvres there, trying to go on, trying to get the tight corner on the inside. Nothing doing. Nice long straight now. Long Lakeside coming up to Island Bend. Further back, Stuart Court has now got past Scott Kostrick. And he come down to Sholell Corner. Scott Kostrick on the outside. And Stuart has now got Rob Sutherland. He's a good 2 seconds ahead of him. There's a big old 3 second gap after that. And Stuart's still got Scott to worry about. And Peter Woodmore behind Scott as well. So it's not a done deal for Scott. But he is doing well there. Meanwhile, back up front, the pressure has not eased. Christopher Smith is under intense pressure from Sinan, who's got Jack closely behind him, and then Dan Wareham is closely behind him as well, closely followed by Lee Rylands. As Sinan going up the inside, Jack trying to go around the outside, nothing doing, just can't get through as they go up Deer Leap. Is there an opportunity as they come through Old Hall Corner down into Cascades? Let us see. Just nobody's close enough. You've got to be closer than a couple of tenths. Now, good traction down Cascades. Might be able to get the drag along Lakeside. Oh, did we lose Christopher Smith there? Blip in the matrix, I'm afraid. Back on with Christopher Smith. Sinan's still trying to chase him down. And he's really close now as we come up into his lobs. Just still nothing doing, just can't get past him. It's a magnificently tight pack. But Oulton Park doing what Oulton Park does best. Keeping them bunched up and not letting anyone have any wiggle room. You've got to get so close to make a manoeuvre. And most of these guys, like as they come around Lodge Corner, nobody's giving up that inside line. Nobody's going wide. No opportunities whatsoever as they go up Deer Leap. Now, Dan Wirham on Sinan. No. Oh, did he get a little nudge there? Not quite sure. Dan swapped to the outside to go down into Cascades. Goes over that curb. Doesn't quite do it. But he is trying to manufacture something here. I think he's trying to put the pressure on Sinan, trying to force a mistake. Desperately wants to get on terms with Christopher Smith up front. Dan is doing everything he can to put the pressure on, but Sinan's doing a good job himself on Christopher Smith yet again as they go down into his lops. But the fighting, the defending lets others in, and then further back we've got Jack Holland and Lee Rylands trading places as they come through the chicane. So 10 minutes gone, Christopher Smith followed by Sinan, then Dan Wirham, Lee Rylands closely behind with Jack Holland fighting closely on his tail. And Stuart Court has now made it up into 6th place, 3.5 seconds behind, but there we can see him. Right. Let's see if Sinan can do anything this time going into Old Hall Corner, down into Cascades. I don't think so. Not close enough. Dan Wirham is giving him a worrying time. Now Christopher Smith may have had some connection issues. That's not going to help. That's maybe why we lost him last time when we were on board with him. Whoa, and out wide goes Lee Rylands. That's given Jack Holland an opportunity as we come up. To Island Bend. Oh, Lee Rylands gone wide again. I hope he's going to hold it, is he? And not going to go flying into the side of Jack Holland. Yep, Lee Rylands holds it. That's Jack Holland up into 4th now. Now, Lee Rylands has lost some traction. Now, if he loses touch, it's going to be... That's all she wrote. As we go through... Oh, what a nice move by Dan on Sinan. Squeezed his way through. Sinan's having none of that. Pushes back through Knickerbrook. Here they go. Tit for tat. Up in the clay hill. Sinan, Dan Wirham, side by side. Now, this is a close fighting we were looking for. Sinan takes the inside. Dan Wirham now trying to go tight as we come down into Lodge Corner. Dan Wirham's got the inside. Is he going to nudge Sinan out? He is. And he holds it. Blimey. Lee Rylands. Where did you come from? You were off track half a lap ago. And he's through. So, Christopher Smith, Dan Wirham, Lee Rylands. Although, I've got to say, that's allowed Christopher Smith to get away now. A gap of 2 seconds. Now, that was some close fighting. But Lee Rylands now going to try and chase Dan Wirham down. And Stuart Court has now caught up with this group of cars. So we've got Dan Wirham heading it, Stuart Court on the tail of it. Yeah. This is a recipe for excitement if ever there is one. Christopher Smith, meanwhile, is off. It's an adios, amigos. Me boy. And he's gone. Dan Wirham takes him down into his lops. Jack Holland has a little look down the inside of Lee Rylands. Lee's not falling for that one. And Sinan has now got Stuart Court to worry about, who is caught right up and is getting ever closer. Whilst Sinan tries to make a move. Himself on Jack Holland. Trying to fake the inside there, it's not going to happen. And Sinan looks to have lost it. Wait, missed that one there. He's had to go in the pits. Has he got a penalty? Or is he wouldn't have run out of fuel? We're only 14 minutes in, 10 minutes to go. So Sinan must have been playing bumper cars a bit too much. Ended up with a penalty and gone in the pits. Anyway, everyone else says thank you very much. We'll carry on racing. So Dan Wirham, 1.6 seconds behind Christopher Smith. Jack Holland and Lee Rylands trading places as they go round Island Bend into Shell Oil's corner. And look, Stuart Court's back up with them. Goes round the outside of Lee Rylands, trying to. He's going to duck to the inside, coming up hilltops, is he? Lee Rylands not going to give him the space to do it. And anyway, Lee wants the inside on Jack Holland. So Stuart Court's going to go for the outside as we come into his lops. Now Christopher Smith, I don't know whether his lap times are slowing down. Not that much. But Dan Wirham was caught right up. So where that was a couple of seconds, or a second and a half a lap ago, that is now down to nearly half a second. Dan Wirham wants to make it a double if he can. He's desperately trying. But then we go back to Jack Holland, who's under pressure now from Lee Rylands, and likewise Lee's under pressure from Stuart Court as they all take a slight off track now as they go round Old Hall corner. Christopher Smith nicely away, but he's desperately under pressure. Jack Holland, Lee Rylands, Stuart Court closely on the tail. As we go on board with Stuart Court. Oh, Peter Woodmore was that, off to the right. Let's go and have a look, see what happens to Peter. Comes up the inside there. Oh! Takes a hit in his lops. Unfortunately, bit of a coming together. Him and Josh Arnold by the looks of it. That was very unfortunate. Meanwhile, back out front, Christopher Smith now under pressure from Lee Rylands. Stuart Court takes a little off track there. Well, they lost some traction. Right, Dan Wirham coming up dearly. Here we go. Dan is right up close now. 2/10 in it, 7 minutes to go. Dan's going to be making moves. And he is. He's getting ever closer as we come down into Cascades. Pulling up the inside. Dan Wareham coming up the inside of Christopher Smith. Becomes the outsider as come round an iron bend. But then Dan's got it on Shell Oil corner if he can hold it. Oh, what a move. Just absolutely fabulous driving there from Dan Wareham. Absolutely brilliant. Christopher didn't have a chance, unfortunately. Just got outmanoeuvred. It was a long time in the planning, I think. And the timing's about right. 6 minutes to go. I think we'll just see Dan disappear into the sunset unless he makes a mistake. Christopher Smith trying to desperately hold on there, but they're starting to string out. At least he's not got so much pressure behind him, with Jack Holland now over half a second behind Lee Rylands and Stuart Court, all a bit strung out behind there. So after that we go back and see Dan Forster and Peter Woodmore. Dan's just taken Peter, taking it up into 10th. You just see behind them David Swinhoe and Peter Sidcup. So Dan's got Peter, put him under pressure. He's come round Lodge Corner, into Deer Leap and across the line. Peter Sidcar further back, he's putting David Swinhoe under a bit of pressure. Less than 2/10 gap between him as they come round Cascades. Peter tries to hang on the inside and gets quite good traction there. We might see some moves coming up. Yeah, around the outside goes Peter Sidcar and takes that. It was up front, we've got Christopher Smith, Jack Holland trading places. Dan Wareham's now stretched that lead out nearly a second, but Christopher Smith, Jack Holland and Lee Rylands have all bunched up and they're fighting away. Stuart Court is slowly catching them. He had lost a bit of ground, he was over a second behind, but as these three fight, now Jack Holland comes up the inside. Christopher Smith, Jack Holland takes it really tight. Lee Rylands is trying to have some of that party as well. Doesn't quite make it though. And guess who's back in town? So, as Dan Wareham disappears off into the sunset yet again, Jack Holland is under intense pressure from Christopher Smith and Lee Rylands closely behind, with Stuart Court putting pressure on him too. Stuart Court keeps losing a bit of ground and then gaining a bit of ground, but slowly, he's getting there. As we come up the hill, let's go on board with Jack. Take us through his laps. Oh, there's a bit of a chicane there. Couple of tyres. And Jack thinks he's in a TCR. Takes us up Clay Hill. Round the corner. Here we go, into Warwick Bridge. He's actually gained some ground on Dan Wirham here as we go under Warwick Bridge. And around the corner, down Lodge Corner, up into Deerleap. And across the line. Not far to go now. Dan, Jack, Christopher Smith going through his laps. They've all caught Dan up quite nicely. Coming down into Lodge Corner. Dan Wirham really close now from Jack Holland. Christopher Smith. And there we have it. Christopher Smith, Jack Holland, sorry, Dan Wirham, Jack Holland, Christopher Smith, Lee Rylands, Stuart Court, Rob Sutherland, Sean Webber. Let's get the results up of that final race. And there we have it. Jack Holland in second place from Dan Wirham, who wins yet again. Closely followed by Christopher Smith, Lee Rylands and Stuart Court battles his way back to fifth. Rob Sutherland in sixth, Sean Webber in seventh, Josh Arnold in eighth, Scott Kostrick in ninth. And Peter Sidgar rounds up your top 10 with Mark Proctor, Peter Woodmore, Bradley McCormack, Cormac, David Swinhole, Craig Corish, Dave Clark and Terry Atkinson, followed by Sean Atkinson for your top 18. Rob Jackson in 19th, John Johnson in 20th, Dan Forster in 21st. And Sinan in 22nd. So, thank you everyone. Really appreciate you watching. And we're back again this time next week. Until then. Cheers.